All right, what stupid video are we recording today? I have 3 companies to run.
We're ranking web browsers, but Mark's not here yet.
He's probably at jujitsu practice.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I was at jujitsu practice.
Mark, you're not as hardcore about these videos as I once believed.
Maybe if we did a tier list ranking the best meats to smoke, he'd show up on time.
Do we have to use Skype to record these? I didn't even know Skype still existed.
I get a free subscription. Also, Zoom is always buggy AF for me.
All right, boys, let's get into the rankings, starting with Safari.
Safari is the most boring web browser out there. D tier.
Biased Bill at it again.
I'm not biased. Safari sits in a walled garden and would be nothing if it didn't ship on Macs by default.
It also is nothing like a Safari, and I've been on a lot of Safaris.
Safari is a bit boring, but maybe it's okay if a web browser is boring. It's a utilitarian product, and because Apple owns both the hardware and software, it's basically the fastest browser out there. A tier.
I hate to say it, but I agree with Mark that boring isn't bad for a web browser. If it works, it works.
It's like the opposite of Tesla door handles.
Browsers are populist technology for the masses. It's one of the only pieces of software you, your mom, and your cousin in middle school all use. A browser that's not cross-platform can't be above C tier. It's antithetical to what the product category stands for.
Bill Gates, more like Bill Philosophy over here.
It's actually not a bad point, Bill.
We have to move on to the next one soon, or people will stop watching the video. Retention is really important on YouTube.
You have to stop worrying about retention. If we're authentic to ourselves, we'll build a strong following base over time.
Ah, yes, move slow and build deliberately over time, the Facebook way.
Let's just split the difference and say B tier.
Okay.
Whatever.
Next, we have Firefox.
S tier, S tier. It's open source and has a killer developer edition. The Flexbox and CSS Grid Inspector tools are totally fire.
If browsers are for the masses, developer features don't matter. Normal people don't care about that stuff.
I remember using Firefox. I think it was around the time people used Microsoft Word. Firefox is the Zune of browsers. C tier.
Why do you have to be so hostile, Elon? Did your rocket explode today?
Firefox does kind of sound like what you'd name your next child, Elon.
Firefox ZBDC12.
I respect if you use Firefox for development work, but it's too slow to be a solid daily driver. Unfortunately, I agree with Elon. C tier.
Unfortunately, I agree with Elon is going to be the name of my biography.
God, this is our worst tier list yet. Maybe that should be the YouTube title, the worst tier list we've ever done.
If we clickbait our videos too much, we'll lose our viewers' trust over time.
All right, next up is Brave.
Brave is such a joke, they have to pay their users in crypto to use their product. What is a BAT token anyways?
Makes sense that you wouldn't care about the privacy-focused browser, Mark.
Can we cut that part?
Trying to censor people as usual. Also, the T in BAT stands for token. So you said token.
I respect Brave's commitment to privacy, but I agree their crypto stuff feels pretty desperate and tacked on. It just doesn't work for me. C tier.
I'll say D tier because this crypto talk reminds me of Dogecoin.
I'm going to switch to A tier because I actually do really respect their commitment to privacy, which is a value I think is important to uphold in a democracy.
God, you have no spine, Mark.
I'm putting Brave in C tier.
I feel like we're forgetting that Mark said token.
You know, I tried to buy Twitter too once. How's that going for you?
Let's do Chrome. Has to be S tier.
I don't know about that.
What do you mean?
Hello?
Who is that? I thought this was a private Skype.
Sorry, I may have set up the settings wrong.
Is Jack Antonoff here? I'm here for our songwriting session.
I think that's Taylor Swift.
Wow. Hi, Taylor. Are you interested in doing a partnership about the metaverse?
Is that Mark Zuckerberg?
Unfortunately, yes.
Why don't you focus less on legless avatars and more on building a Ticketmaster alternative? Then we can talk.
No offense, Taylor, but we have to keep this video moving. What do people think about Chrome?
Well, I'm personally a fan of how Google has pushed the browser industry forward with its open source Chromium initiative, and it has the best extensions. I use Grammarly to help find typos in my lyrics.
See, Taylor gets it. Chrome has 80% market share. S tier just feels right.
Feels right is not a real argument, and what's the point of doing these tier videos if we're just going to rank by popularity?
I feel like we're overlooking the fact that Taylor Swift is here.
I've been overlooked my entire life. That's the theme of my next album, Overlook, which will be split up into 13 parts and distributed solely via Tumblr blogs.
When you think about a web browser, you think about Chrome. It's like the Coca-Cola of browsers. What more is there to say?
Obviously, I agree Chrome is solid, but they've been stagnant for a while, and I can't overlook the privacy concerns of using a Google product. C tier.
God, Mark, you're overcorrecting way too much on this privacy thing.
Yeah, it's pretty transparent. I say A tier.
I'm good with A.
I guess you guys hate privacy.
Okay, well, that was random.
All right, next is Arc Browser.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a new browser from this startup in New York. It has some really ambitious ideas that I'm honestly surprised no one's tried before.
Yeah, I haven't switched from Chrome, but their split screen feature is pretty sweet.
I'm trying to check it out right now.
It's not out on Windows yet.
Then it's D tier, right next to where Safari should be. What a joke.
I think they're posting an update on their Windows project next week on their YouTube. You should subscribe to their channel to stay tuned for that.
I agree browsers should be cross-platform, but you have to start somewhere. I say A tier because I respect their vision. It's not perfect, but they're the only browser that's trying to push what a browser actually is.
For Mac users, which is like 20% of the market.
Arc's sidebar is also a great way to stay organized, especially if you run more than one company. Not that either of you would know. I think it's probably B tier, but I'll say A because Arc starts with an A.
Stupid. This is a fraud list.
Let's move on.
All right, last one, we have Edge.
Let me guess.
I actually do think this is S tier.
Of course you do.
Biased Bill
Is there a more transformative technology than AI that exists right now?
Mark is going to say the metaverse.
Edge is the only browser with actual AI integrations. They're the only browser at scale to be experimenting rapidly.
Being first isn't the best, Bill. It's not a race to get on Mars the fastest. It's a race to get on Mars and survive the landing.
I really respect how quickly Edge is shipping new things, even if it's still imperfect.
Edge also has dope Microsoft Teams integrations, the best way to collaborate with your squad.
Please never say dope or squad ever again.
I say we give it B tier.
All right, whatever. Another terrible video. No chance this gets any views.
Stop being so negative, Bill.
See you later, suckers.